Hello and welcome to the Media Review segment. It's great to have with me here journalist Bob Majiogene to review a few issues today. You're welcome, Bob.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much for joining me. On February 16th, Punch tells us that Mrs. Patience Jonathan was flown to a German hospital.
Yeah.
And they particularly sourced an online news medium, Sahara Reporters. The next day, February 17th, we were told that Mrs. Jonathan was not flown to abroad, that indeed she was actually in Nigeria visiting the FCT Minister, Senator Bala Mohammed, to commiserate with him over the death of his late brother. What do you have to say about this?
Anita, thank you for this opportunity to have to talk about this. I should let you know that this report is downright very disappointing, and it's an example of what should not be happening in the business of journalism. Now, I will not be saying that this is downright off the cube if I cannot defend what I need to say. If you cast your mind back to some years ago when we had a president who was sick, he was flown to, it was said it was flown to a German hospital. And then we had news all over the place. All sorts of people were at the marketplace saying all sorts of things. Now, where it is that they got the things they were saying and the things they were publishing, nobody got to find out. And so some of us were actually very worried that this was going on. And we're trying to say that this sort of things should not be said on air the way they were getting said. And then I started doing some investigation. What I found out was that I met somebody who worked with the United Nations, and the person made it clear to me that they have a dossier on the health condition of the president, to the extent that where the late president was at that time was such that if people were being allowed to go in that place, it would further complicate the problem of the late president. And so it was that the president was quarantined. It was only his wife that could be there with him to take care of him. But there was so much people were saying on air, radio, television, and papers. My problem was this: we didn't get any of these so-called people, these media houses who were saying the things that they said, ever send a reporter to that place to find out exactly what was going on. All we had, just speculative, no investigation, just speculation. So if you look at the same scenario, now, let me go back. When I found that out, I wrote about it, and I said, this is the case. People took me to task, and they said what was happening was that the condition, the problem was a desecration of the office of the president. So I was asking them, the office of the president and the life of the man in question, which is most important? And they told me, oh, is the office of the president. I beg to disagree. So it is not different from the sort of scenario that we have here. If you have a report that is online, we ask ourselves the question, who are these people that are publishing these things? Who are these people that are publishing these things? Sahara Reporters, from all I know, nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows who they are. What they publish, what they put on air is online. And for a paper to go take whatever it is, Sahara Reporters from online, and put it there and say this is online, and say this is online, and this is a report that you have to rely on, believe me, and it's on, this is irresponsible. What I thought they would do is this: you get the report, you cannot confirm, you don't know if it's true or not. If you look at what the report said, in fact, they were even quoting presidency sources.
Yes, they actually noted that the president's source denied the report, and it was contrary to what they had mentioned. So I don't know what the point of going ahead to still report the story was.
And what you do is this: when you get this sort of thing, you don't just rush to the press because the issue is on the front burner. The reportage should be that you get this sort of thing before you publish it. You make a call. The people at the presidency, the people everywhere, wherever they are, they have their phone line, their email, whatever. In fact, when you finish that report, you may want to do a bigger story if you want to. You need to make a call. You need to clarify. I give you another example with the story in America, Watergate scandal. There's the Deep Throat. The guy was giving information. For about 2 decades, nobody knew who Deep Throat was. But the people that were involved kept trying to find out. So the onus of the responsibility on you as a reporter is this: you have this sort of thing. Try to make a call through. What will happen is this: if you make that call, nobody says, the person that you're trying to make the call to probably had his phone turned off. Now, if the phone is not turned on, maybe you get the person to want to tell you that I cannot comment on it. But the thing is this: you have made a call, and when you're writing your story, you will say, when we are doing this story, we try to call this person or contact this person, but we cannot get them. It makes your story stronger. It gives it greater credibility. It gives it greater strength. This sort of thing here was It was irresponsible.
Okay. Going forward for these newspapers now, when you have made this sort of error,
yeah,
how do you handle the error?
Well,
because it's an ethical challenge now.
I thought that the people who made the story would probably come out and tell us how they got the story, how they got their information. But it's clear. Now, you see, when I saw this, I just thought this was a good thing that was happening. When I see this is a good thing that's happening, it helps to tell of the character of certain people who say they are journalists. The journalism profession is a very, very, very well-respected profession anywhere in the world. But if these sort of things keep happening, it helps to sift the wheat from the chaff. People know today that when you say somebody traveled there, and now later will not find the person did not actually travel, the person is right here, it tells who you are. So I think for me, this is a good story. It helps for us to know certain people have another agenda somewhere. They have motives. Now, it's terrible if you say you're a journalist, you allow people to use you, because that's what I think happened. You cannot verify. You have not verified. You just rush to the press and say you got it from the people that published this thing. They didn't do well at all, believe me.
Okay, let's move on to the next story now. On February 15th, on Weekly Trust, Jega says that he berates the media for negative reports, and he seeks EU's assistance for media training.
We cannot be but happy that this sort of thing is happening now, particularly when you have people just about say they are journalists that just.
But do you really think the media has been reporting negatively about the INEC Commission?
I will tell you the story about what happened to us when we were in Germany in 2008. We had journalists from all over the world who are from maybe private governments. And then the people in the government media, we discovered that they're different from some of us who are private, because for the private people, they have the issue, they go investigate. But for the government people, they just have the information, they just throw it right there. So, and then when you're training right there, you don't know who it is that is sending this message and the motive of the person that is sending this message. So there are lots of inaccuracy, there are lots of stuff, lots of things that get thrown in the public space. And then the people that are throwing these things in the public space, they know the power of the media. They know that perception is reality. The minute these things get out, people read about them, they form an opinion. And the minute they form an opinion, it's very hard to erase that sort of opinion. So I think that this sort of thing that is happening now, the INEC asking the EU, in fact, I should let you know, this is not the first time that the EU has been, I'm a product of what the EU has been doing. Okay. I went on the training in Germany in 2008, and at no cost to me whatsoever, they put me through best practices of journalism business. Now, the people that taught me, but not,
and it has affected.
It affected the way I look at issues. The people there, they spend their money. The teachers we had, international teachers, they are from Germany, from Ukraine, from all over the world. And so I think it's not just the INEC that the EU should partner with. You partner with every commission, every segment of the Nigerian sector that handles information, and you discover that all of these things that we read about here, if you look at what the paper has said, it said that the misinformation, in fact, a lot of misinformation, and people are there.
It says
misinformation, inaccuracies, all sorts of things are happening. And so if the EU, now in fact the EU has been involved. If you look at the database of, I don't know if it's okay for me to mention, there's a country, Germany, that does this and does this very well. They've done this over the years, and it's very good. It cannot have come at a better time than now, if actually this is what they still are doing.
Apart from government agencies and government commissions, based on other sectors, do you think that developmental organizations should also partner with or sensitize their media partners in reporting every issue or their activities the way they want it to be seen?
The EU, for the least that I know, is that they want to partner with you across board. Okay. They're not just partnering with you at the level of journalism. They partner with you economically, they partner with you politically. In fact, there was a day I went to a program that was organized by the EU. They're thinking about how to report, and one of the critical problems they had is that there are people that are supposed to vote where you have water. And so the question now arose, how do you cover? And so the EU, they began to prefer suggestions, solutions on how to do that sort of thing, and they actually want to partner with INEC. So it's not just in the area of reportage; it will be all across board, because
both private and public.
Both private, because if you take it or leave it, the EU is much more at that level that we're trying to attain. So if they have it and they're giving it to you, and they're giving it to you without a cost to you, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, February 9th, it was reported we're made to know that insurgents are better armed than army. That's by the Leadership newspaper.
Yeah.
And specifically stated what we needed to know about based on what Governor Shettima had said. But on Monday, he said Shettima, governor of the worst hit state, Borno, laid the truth plainly before President Jonathan, saying that the insurgents are better armed and motivated than the Nigerian army. On what basis can we qualify that as truth?
There is a difference between your opinion and your reportage, and most of the time the opinion and the reportage, they mostly come about from the choice of words you use. If you use certain words like the person had just said plainly, plainly, as if it's a matter of fact. Now, if I was the editor of this sort of thing, I'll probably yank off those parts that I said plainly, because we have not verified. It brings us back to the same problem, because you listen to somebody talk. As not the person talks, you just put words together, and in this business, there's supposed to be people that are called gatekeepers. They should be able to take some of these words out because of the fact that the reporter has not gone back to the army. In fact, I have a problem with the person who said this, because how did you know that the insurgents are better armed?
What indices?
Yes. Are you in touch with them? Do they call you on phone?
Is there something you know that we don't know?
We don't know. And if that is the case, and you're telling us, you just rob, it's like a tip of the iceberg. You're not telling us the truth. So I think, first of all, the governor should be able to tell us, give us how he got to know that the insurgents are better armed, because the Boko Haram people are people that we don't see, they are faceless. Now, he's telling us that they are better armed is a problem there. And then, when you have this sort of story, we assume that the reporters, whoever is involved in this, probably will make a call to the army spokesperson. I want to do some investigation. I want to talk to you concerning this. Is it true that but all we had was just the reporter going to say this is what, and I don't think it was good. It was good to say that. Yeah.
They'll take the cue from that. Let's quickly look at the Federalist newspaper for the week. It says Atiku alleged 10 billion naira bait tears APC apart. What do you think about that? Briefly, we have just.
This is what I think about this. The alleged 10 billion bait tears APC apart. The people at the APC, with due respect to them, I think most of them were part of the PDP. 90% of them are part of the PDP. And if 10 billion naira is tearing them apart now, I cannot probably know the full story, but if 10 billion is tearing them apart, it just goes to tell you what is going on.
We'll leave that for a discussion for some other day.
All right,
Thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure, Aniton. It was my pleasure, Aniton.
Okay, it's been great having you join us on the Media Review segment. For more interaction, please visit our website, insighttv.net. And you can also forward your questions and comments to InsightTV_Nigeria on Twitter, InsightTV_NG on Twitter. Thanks again for being a part of this segment. I am Eniton KDG.
Viewers, this is the convenient spot to draw the curtain on today's edition of Insight. It's nice having you from Eniton.
It's been great having you join us on this interactive platform. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube. Simply type Insight Nigeria on the search bar. Once again, thank you for watching. Until